Just while you're clearing up? No,
Yeah.
you don't worry about the camera actually, it's me, I'm only listening to what you're going to say. How do you reckon it went today?
I thought it went really well. I thought the classes were really receptive, the kids were really receptive. They completely, sort of got what we were trying to do and, really engaged with the activities. Really happy, really enthusiastic.
What sort of things did you do in the workshop?
The idea of the workshops was to explore a number of themes, I suppose. One of those is, it's Black History Month, so we were looking at Black history, but we were looking at it coming in from the angle of photography and recording, histories and experiences and community histories and so on. And looking at it from the work of Vanley Burke, a black photographer in Handsworth, situated or based in Handsworth in Birmingham, and all the work that he's done over the last 40-50 years, and to get the school kids to look at these pictures, to think about how old they were, what we could learn from them, what they liked about those pictures, to start to understand how to kind of look into and read and interpret those images, and how they might be useful for learning. Then moving on to talking about how Birmingham is a city that has been made up of people moving from all over the place, really all over the world, all over the country, all over the region, and we found that a lot of the kids had parents or grandparents or uncles or aunts or even cousins that were based elsewhere, in Birmingham or Britain or in the world. So there's a lot of connections that are outside of Birmingham, just to raise their kind of understanding of how actually Birmingham is a city that has grown over the years of people coming into it.
You've worked with every single child, I think, now?
We've worked with every class, every child in the school over two days. Last week was Wednesday and this is Tuesday. So we've covered every single class in the school, right from nursery, reception, right up until, I think, year 6. So that's, we've reached the whole school. Really happy to be able to be given the opportunity to do that. I'm hoping that that they've left with enthusiasm for the topics and the themes that we've covered, and we hope to work with the school again in the future.
So how's it been working with, there must be a big difference between the classes. There's a big age difference certainly between the youngest and the oldest. How's it been presenting stuff to them? Have you done it differently, or how's it?
Yeah, for the younger kids, I think you need to take a different approach to when you're working with the school kids who are maybe year 5, year 6. I think more activity-based, more kind of hands-on with the younger kids. Less certainly talking from ourselves, and we learn as we go along as well in terms of that delivery, what works best and what doesn't, and so on. And then with the older kids, obviously, you can explore the themes and the topics and the issues a bit more, get them to talk, ask questions, discuss themes. But we found a lot of the hands-on activities work really well with pretty much all of the age groups. I think with the youngest, the youngest of all, we didn't work with for a full hour. We worked with them for half an hour, which allowed us to kind of just focus on some of the best activities, hands-on, looking at the pictures, role-playing, and then taking pictures, themselves, which is what the activities that all groups did. So when we looked at Vanley's images, talked about Vanley's life experiences, how he came to be in Birmingham and what he's been doing over the last 50 years, and moving straight on to the final activity of role-play and acting out some of the images and taking pictures themselves, and just getting used to how you frame images and how you kind of create situations to do that.
One last thing, sort of moving on a bit. You work with all sorts of different people in your job. Is it different working in a school, or what's it like working in schools? What sort of things do you do?
It is different working in schools. There's a different dynamic. There's working with community groups, for example. There are different sets of issues and challenges, and also different sets of outcomes and outputs, and just different approaches. And working with a school group, again, is different. Here in this case we've come in, but we've had Pagnell School go in to the archives before as a school group, and we've delivered various activities out there which have been great fun. It's a different thing altogether, and we know that the kids are aware that they're here during school time, and so there are certain expectations of them as well as certain expectations of us to turn up and do our activities. We're working out in the community or in youth groups is different because the numbers of people that you're going to get aren't guaranteed, for example. You know, but we know that when there's a class meant to be here, there's a class meant to be here, whereas when we're out in the community working in a youth group, we're not quite sure who and how many will turn up. So, you know, but what that means is when we're working with Pagnell School, we've got the whole entire school involved, and that is something that we wouldn't be able to do anywhere else, where you've got the whole entire community as such. This school is a community. We've had this whole entire school community involved, the teachers, teaching assistants, and the kids, and the head teacher, and everybody.
And the family through their own photos.
In a number of cases, yeah. We've had family turn up as well. We've had mothers and so on turn up for a few sessions last week, so they were present. But certainly we set homework, we set some tasks, so parents are aware of what we were doing. So they're involved in that respect. And in certain cases, yes, you know, the youngsters have come back with stories, and they've come back with pictures as well. And so that's allowed, you know, us to kind of like almost reach out and reach into the community and into families and that experience.
One last question. Where would you like to see Pagnell go from here?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, you know, just to, well, in terms of activities, just to use that experience and that enthusiasm to build and to develop confidence and want to be more active and more involved and to continue to work with us, certainly, and for the kids in their development, to give them the confidence to strive forward and to you know, get the most out of life, because that's the idea, I think, of school, is to enable youngsters to develop in such a way that as they progress and grow up and grow older and sort of leave school, that they're in a strong position to get the most out of life for themselves.
Thanks very much.